Hi, I'm Joe, and I just realized that I dramatically read a fan fiction in which a robot makes love to a human. Enjoy. Okay, hi. So, I wasn't going to film this video today, but I decided to anyway. Cause I couldn't get anything working in my head for my writing, so I took a break from writing, like the whole entire day, because I kept trying to think of stuff for chapters and stuff, but nothing came to mind. I guess you could say I've had a writer's block, but still. I'm just gonna do a dramatic reading. Yeah. Before continuing on, there's just a few things you have to know about this story, because it's fan fiction, sorta. But it's fan fiction for, well, well, I'm only doing the third chapter in the last chapter, because that's the best part. So, you have to know about, Super Sentai and Go Busters, because this is a Yoko and Jay /fic. Third chapter is always the best part. Because that's it. Anyway. Okay, so, here's what happened so far in the story. Enemy Metaloid. Go Busters fight. Jay Robot saves Yoko. Yellow. And the next chapter, chapter 2, Yoko goes to thank Jay, and Jay just wants Enertron. So, and there's a ton of Enertron back at base, so he decides to just stay there for the Enertron. You know, when I was watching this show, I don't know why I'm saying like this. When I was watching the show, I was kind of wondering if Jay ever gotten drunk on Enertron. Can robots? Can robots get drunk?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Probably one more glasses. Now for the reading. 50 Shades of Jay, Chapter 3. Coincidentally, he's actually the Silver Ranger too. You can't see my eyes. I'm gonna move back. God. Okay. So I'm gonna be reading everything. Don't know why I sound like this, but I'm gonna be reading everything. Even the disclaimer. Hey, super wacky warning time! This shit ain't safe for work. Or home. Or life. Even the greatest Go Buster fans have lost their minds reading this. So if you're ready to go down the rabbit hole, just remember, there's no going back. I think you should go. It's gonna be dirty. I'm talking. Anyway. Chapter 3. Yoko was in a mess. There they were, now inside the base. Jay was now dead set on staying there. She figured she could sneak him into her room for now and figure something out later. She quickly took Jay to her room, the only place she could think to hide him. Just stay here for now. We'll figure something out later. I'm going to be late for combat practice, but I don't hurry. Remember, just stay here and don't move. She pushed Jay into her room and quickly ran back out. Hoping Jay listened to what she said, she just said and stayed put. Oh, okay. She ran out, hoping that Jay... Okay. Jay simply watched as the door closed behind her. He then turned his attention to her bed. He walked up to it and stared at it for a minute, then poked it a bit. I'm on my bed. I just poked my bed. A bed. A bed, he deeply said to himself. Training had finally ended, and Yoko was now standing outside the door to her room, just trying to summon the strength to deal with her new roommate. Training was only 2 hours for Yoko, but it felt like forever. Just thinking of this problem was exhausting enough, but having to concentrate on combat practice as well was more than she wanted to handle. Luckily, it was late now, and everyone had turned in for the night, giving Yoko the freedom to find a place for Jay. She took a deep breath and finally opened her door to find Jay sitting on her bed. Only something was different. It was his eyes. It was his eyes. Instead of the usual light they emitted, they were dim. Okay. She didn't think he'd take telling him to stay still so seriously. She slowly walked up to Jay, worried something was wrong with him. He probably didn't find Anatron. Probably. She waved her hand in front of Jay's face, trying to get a reaction from him. Suddenly his eyes came back to life as he jumped on his feet, sending Yoko falling back. I'm not gonna fall. I'm just staying with it. It's complete! He proclaimed, standing proudly. What's complete? Oh, frustrated. Okay. What's complete? Asked the frustrated Yoko as she pulled herself off the ground. Okay. After you left, I spent my time researching databases for what you wanted me to learn about. Beds! He said, pointing to Yoko's bed. Yoko looked at him with confusion. We've already been through this. Beds are for sleeping. Yoko couldn't understand how someone could spend 2 hours trying to come to that conclusion. Speaking of sleeping, I should probably do that now. I don't want to. I lost myself. Okay. Incorrect, said Jay. How am I incorrect? She didn't have time to finish her sentence. Her lips were stopped by another pair. Her body wrapped up by 2 metal arms. Her mind went blank. She couldn't believe what was happening. She didn't even know Jay had lips, but now she finally understood how he drank all that Anatron. Jay had finally released her and threw her on the bed. What else, bro? That's one of the times. Anyway. Wait, what are you doing? This isn't what beds are for. She backed up against the edge, shocked at what had just happened. The best reader ever. In all the research I found, this is what is done on beds. Now quiet as I continue displaying my newfound knowledge. Continue? What did Jay mean by that? Yoko didn't have time to wonder as Jay climbed on top of her again, locking his lips. Yeah, every time there's a human body part on Jay, I'm just gonna... I mean, he had legs and arms and a head. His hand slid down her body, reaching her bottom and squeezing a cheek tightly. When Jay first climbed on top of her, she was ready to push him away, but she hadn't yet. Why? Could it be that she actually enjoyed this? Did this really feel good? It did! Yoko was enjoying it. She has never been kissed before, let alone been touched like this before. Well, when you're training to be the protector of the world. It was thrilling, but she quickly came back to her senses, breaking her mouth away from Jay's and letting her take a breath of needed air. I'm scrolling down. Wait, this is wrong! What's wrong with you? She screamed, trying to push the buddy roid off of her. Wrong. I can't be wrong. I am doing it exactly as it should be done. You are in the wrong. Your reaction to this is all wrong. From what I have seen, the female usually looks amazed by what is happening. What did he see? Maybe Yoko was wrong. Would it feel amazing? What has already happened sure did. Maybe it was okay. Should she let him? She didn't say anything. She just dropped her arms to the side and accepted what was about to happen. She wanted this. Jay loomed over her as he moved in to kiss her one more, this time in a gentle, slower pace than before. He moved his hand up her body and unzipped her uniform. Off came the jacket, the shorts, even the underwear. Yoko was now down to nothing but a t-shirt. What's with my accent? Suddenly she felt something on her back. Jay had unhooked her bra through the shirt, and was now lifting them both up over her head, tossing them to the side. He looked into Yoko's eyes, his hand sliding down her stomach, lower and lower until he cupped her there. Her eyes widened. She had never even touched herself in this way before, but here she was, letting Jay take full control as his fingers made their way inside of her. See, this is the picture of that. He thrust his fingers into her as the other hand grabbed the back of her head, yanking her hair down to bring her face up as he moved in to kiss her. I'm trying to imagine that right now. Their tongues locked passionately. Tongues. His research had paid off. Jay was a pro at this. His lips slipped away from her mouth and worked themselves down her body. Jay cupped her breasts, his thumbs circling around her nipples, but she was more focused on which way his head was going. South, lower and lower, until he finally reached his destination. I'm not sure how to say but I'll give it. She whimpered. That's the only thing she could sputter out. Yeah, sputter out in this moment. His hands gripping Yoko's breast as his index fingers and thumbs tugged on her nipples. His tongue gently caressed the edges of her nether region. I don't know what a nether region is. I'm 16 and don't know what a nether region is. This was all so new to her, and she loved every minute of it. She could feel something building inside her. something she never felt before. Good, left. Was this what she thought it was? The feeling inside was increasing, growing and growing, until a sensational feeling shot throughout her body, followed by a loud cry, as she laid there griping the sheets and convulsing in the light. I don't know what convulsing means either. It took her a moment to gather her thoughts as she lay there, breathing heavily, but what really brought her back was the fact that he had stopped. She looked up to see Jay towering over her. A strange noise could be heard, something like a metal clanging against metal. Yoko wondered what was happening until her eyes gazed down. Something was emerging from Jay. What is that? She stuttered out. She was shocked, but she knew. It could only be one thing. Ew. Do robots even have penises? I am not yet done displaying what I learned, Jay stated. She was nervous as he inched closer to her. This wasn't a hand or tongue. This was the real deal, and the size of it alone made her hesitate. Where was I? Okay. Nope, lost it. Okay, here we go. Jay wasn't hesitating though. He grabbed her wrists and pinned her arms over her head with one of his hand, as he positioned himself over her, like she's being arrested. Jay, wait! She shouted, scared at what was to come. Shh. He stared into her eyes. Trust me. I need water. She had nothing to say. She knew she could trust him, and with that, she felt it. Her eyes widened as Jay filled her with sensations she never knew before. He started slow at first, letting her grow accustomed to this new experience, easing in and out, until her hips started moving rhythmically with his. I'm 16, what is this? No. Jay started to quicken his pace more and more, causing her body to stiffen up as she moaned in delight. I'm not gonna do it now. Jay could move faster than any normal human man could move. He's also a bodyroid / robot / fit. Yeah, / fit. Her body was being pushed to the brink. What started as moans were now sensational screams. She couldn't believe how insane this all was. I'm still not gonna moan or scream. Yet Jay had no intention to stop, as he wrapped his arms underneath her legs and lifted her up, pushing her body up against the wall. She wrapped her arms tightly around the metal man's body, as I'm looking at my computer, as he continued overwhelming her body with this ecstasy. She had no control over herself. All she could do was hold tight onto Jay's body, as if it was the only thing keeping her from shattering apart.
Oh my god, a cyborg.
Before I read anymore, would Jay's penis be cold because he's a robot? Unless her room's heated. I'll get back to reading. She had no okay. That amazing feeling was already coming back as she reached her second climax. I've done it. Moves catchphrase, but hey, son, no. She shouted in delight as her body went limp. She couldn't take anymore. It was all too much. Jay, no more, she whimpered. Not yet. I am not finished yet. Yet. He shouted as his pace quickened even more and more until finally she felt it. No. Something was released inside her. Jay lowered her down from the wall, letting her stand on her feet. She quickly stumbled to the bed, flopping down on it. She lay there in a pool of sweat. Where is the sweat? No. Exhausted, practically lifeless, flopping down onto it. No, She lay there in a pool of sweat, exhausted, practically lifeless. But what did Jay feel inside her? It couldn't be what she thought it was. Oh no, she's not him. She raised her head with the bit of energy she had left and looked at Jay, at the amazing device that had emerged from him. Did Jay program a dildo into himself? It was slowly dripping. Enertron. That could only mean Yoko was disgusted by the thought of what happened if her mind wasn't already so shattered by what caused it. Can you get pregnant from Enertron? All she could do was lay there. Jay walked up to the nightstand of her bed and pulled something out from the out the drawer and climbed into bed next to her. It was chocolate. Jay had taken out chocolate for her. So sweet. Here, he said as he... I'm trying to not change my tone of voice when I'm speaking for Jay, because he doesn't change his tone of voice. I don't know what I'm doing this hand thing. Here, he said as he unwrapped the chocolate and placed it in her mouth. Talk about force feeding. She quickly ate the candy before she would be unable to move at all. But after what she just experienced, all the chocolate in the world wouldn't be enough to snap her out of it. She laid there staring at Jay. No human to do what he just did. Only someone far superior, and now she finally understood where all that confidence came from, because he was superior. And she loved him. Jay, thank you, she whispered, wrapping her arms around him. Thank you. For what? He asked as he put his hands up between his head and the pillow. Just thank you, she said as she softly fell asleep next this amazing man. Okay, I think it's supposed to be next to this amazing man. The next morning, Yoko slowly walked through the halls of the base, even after sleep. Okay. Yoko slowly walked through the halls of the base. Even after sleeping, Yoko wasn't completely all there. All she had energy to put on... all the energy she had was to put on her underwear and a bathrobe. What she needed was a good breakfast. I need a good breakfast right now. And it's 10. And at night. She walked past the main command center of the base where she noticed everyone, but Jay was already there. Good morning. She suddenly saw the looks on all their faces. Something was wrong. What could it be? Then it hit her. The shouting. She was so loud last night, they must have heard everything. Kuroki looked furious. Morishita looked sick. Nakamura was crying. Jin looked pale, even for an avatar. Hiromu was staring blankly in the distance. What? Did she sound like a chicken? And Ryuji just stood there. Yoko was mortified. Where's Nikusada and Murasaki? Well, they're not there. They're usually there. Yoko was mortified. What they must have thought of her. How could she explain this to them? What should she even say now? Suddenly, metal footsteps could be heard approaching from behind. Jay passed Yoko. Unlike Yoko, Jay wasn't reading the atmosphere of the room, nor did he need to, because she was far superior that of other people's emotions. He stopped at the center of the room. I am Beat J Stag, and I demand breakfast. The end. kinky. But seriously, that was kind of funny. Kinky. Seriously. I think that was a good thing. That was a good first story as a dramatic reading. I don't know about you guys, but... Yeah.
What?
Did you like the story?
I chose not to hear it.
Good. Yeah. I think that was the best Ghostbusters fanfic I've ever read. Mostly because it's the only one I've ever read. It's the only one that interested me. But still, Jay watched porn. That's his study. So wait, does this mean that Yoko sounds like a okay. I'm gonna sleep now. Probably. I don't know. So bye. I don't ask for for you to subscribe or anything because I don't really post anything interesting on this yet. Just you wait. Things interesting will happen. So bye.